All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It's December 29th. We got 9 games on the board tonight. As always, we'll get into it. We'll go through each and every game. I'll give you what my lean is, give you what I'm thinking, give you where this dumb head is at. But my final plays and what I'm actually going to be rolling with tonight, if you guys want to ride or if you want to fade, whatever you want to do, my final plays will be in the pinned comment, and we update that throughout the day as I place them. So just FYI to keep an eye on the pinned comment. I figured I'd start the video saying that because, you know, we always sprinkle that in multiple times. You'll hear me say check the pinned comment a million times in this video, but figured might as well jump out and say it right off the rip. But before we get into it, we got to talk about last night. Last night, we went 1-1. The Sixers did not cover for us. There's times in that game it looked like they were sure as hell going to cover, and then, you know, when it got really close, and I was like, no, this is the worst. They did make it interesting down the stretch, but still, nonetheless, Sixers did not cover for us, but the Knicks did, so we went 1-1 last night. Nothing to brag about, but nothing to beat ourselves up about either. But speaking of bragging, let's get into today's shout-out. Today's shout-out from yesterday's video is going to go to Golden Boy, and I say that and chuckle because it's a story for another time, story for another show. But I was at a bus station once, and this homeless man walked up to me and sat on a bench with me and continuously talked to me and called me Golden Boy, and it was uncomfortable for me, and it lasted a long time. So we don't have to talk about that here, but that's why I laugh. And Golden Boy, I hate to say it, but man, it's a PTSD. I'm thinking back about that, reading your username there. But yesterday's hashtag was hashtag ride. He had Miami minus 4.5 in the first half and Cleveland minus 1.5 first half, both hitting there. And then it looks like your leans were Bucks minus 15, that cash, Knicks minus 5, cash, and then OKC being the only dud right there. But hopefully you went with your leans, because if you went with everything on the screen right now, you had a 4-1 night, which is not too shabby. So shout out there to Golden Boy. Guys, if you don't know how to get shouted out in tomorrow's video, all you got to do is stay till the end of this video. I give you the hashtag of the day. It changes each and every day. Keep you guys on your toes, but I give you a hashtag at the end of the video, and all you got to do is do exactly what Golden Boy did here. Drop the hashtag, give me your picks, and you know what are your locks for the night. And if you guys have a positive winning night, doesn't have to be 100%, positive winning night, you got a chance to be featured in tomorrow's video as I pick them at random. So one last shout out to Golden Boy right there, and guys, stay tuned to the end of the video for today's hashtag. But let's jump right into it here. We have the Pacers traveling to Indiana here. The Hornets traveling to Indiana. I guess the Pacers are probably technically traveling to Indiana as well. But Indiana 3-point favorites here over the Hornets at home. And we rolled with Charlotte last time out against Houston, and that cashed. It was an 8-point spread. The Charlotte team, I do think, is getting healthier. They're going to be without Bridges, PJ Washington tonight, but Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, LaMelo, they do have some of these guys that were out, at bits and pieces during this time. So I do think that they're kind of trending in the right direction, even without one of, if not their best player, Miles Bridges. So I'm going to lean Charlotte tonight +3. They're not the best against the spread road team. They're dominant against the spread at home. 11-2 against the spread at home. 10-12 against the spread on the road. So all signs and research and numbers would say go with the Pacers here, but I just don't totally trust the Pacers yet, and I've had some pretty good luck trusting the Hornets this season. In terms of the Indiana side of things for injuries, we have Jeremy Lamb is probable, and Malcolm Brogdon is still questionable. So, if Malcolm Brogdon's definitely out with that Achilles, then I think I do really, really lean towards Charlotte here. So it's kind of the underdog pick. I don't think it's going to be a popular consensus amongst others if they're making picks, but I do like Charlotte in this one. I think that they're better than what this line would say. So I'm going to lean Charlotte +3. Next up, we have the Pistons hosting the Knicks here. Pistons getting 7.5 points on at home. The Knicks just covered for us yesterday, so they are on the second night of a back-to-back, but weirdly enough, their injury report has actually shrunk. So Derrick Rose still out, Nerlens Noel questionable, House Jr. questionable, McBride and Sims questionable as well. Detroit has a long list of quarantinees here, with Joseph, Trey Lyles, Magruder, Jackson, Lee, Stewart, Killian Hayes, Cade Cunningham. All of these guys are actually, not all those names, but many of those names I just said are crucial players to this Pistons team. You take a really bad team like the Pistons and throw in the health and safety and quarantine protocol and everything like that, it just gets real bad. So I know the Knicks are on the second night of a back-to-back here. I understand that they are the away team as well, but I am going to lean Knicks here -7.5, and that's almost me betting against the Pistons more than it is me betting on the Knicks. I've said it over and over again, this Knicks team has really confused me this year, but winning 3 out of the last 4, and these wins, maybe they get going, maybe they figure something out and start playing some good basketball. So even though it is the second night of a back-to-back, I think we lean Knicks here. But keep an eye on the pin comment to see if that one gets put into the final plays here. All right, next up we have my Boston Celtics taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Celtics 5.5 point favorites at home, and this has got to be just because of all the guys that the Clippers have out and have had out. They are in their last 6 games, they are 1-5. They're not playing too well, but the Celtics have lost 3 out of their last 4 games too, and their injury report and quarantine report, COVID report, whatever it is very long as well. Cantor's out, Schroeder's out, Marcus Smart's questionable, Josh Richardson looks like they might be getting back, Jason Tatum out, Bruno Fernando, Aaron Nesmith all out there as well, but then, on the Clipper side of things, no Reggie Jackson and no Paul George, and obviously no Kawhi Leonard. So you take away this team's 3 best players, and that's where the spread comes from, minus 5.5 here on the Boston side of things, because Boston will have Jaylen Brown, who will be the best player in the game. And as you guys have heard me say on the show every single day, is that I do trust the top-end talent. When these teams are depleted, when they're thin, you have a smaller rotation, I do just trust what team has their better players at the end of the game. And I'm trusting Boston here. I'm going to lean Boston. You guys know everything I got around me is Celtics related. I'm completely biased, so take that pick for what it's worth, but that does actually have a strong chance of making the final ticket there. Celtics minus 5.5. I would love it to be 4.5. That number just seems so much more appealing to me, but that is a lean for me, minus 5.5 there for Boston, because, you know, they do have one of their best players, and the Clippers just don't seem to. Next up, we have the Bulls hosting the Hawks here. Bulls 8.5-point favorites at home over this Hawks team. Hawks are getting Trae Young back, but they are going to be still without John Collins and a bunch of other guys. Kevin Huerter, Bogdanovich, Hunter, all of these guys, Dylan Gallinari, Lou Williams, Wright, Gorgie Dang, it's Luau Cabarro, like anyone that, even if you get to that second layer of how meaningful are these guys to the Hawks, they are absolutely ridden with these either injuries or quarantine or health and safety protocols. The Bulls on the other side of things, you know, still without LaMelo Ball, but outside of that, you know, nothing too new for them and nothing too impactful, I guess, for them. So that's a huge number. That's going to be a thing that I want to stay away from here. I guess the Bulls being 8.5-point favorites over this Hawks team, but I would lean Bulls to win this game. I don't think the money is going to be enough for me to get to pull the trigger on it, but I can't take the Hawks missing so many guys, and I get it. Trae Young, their best player, they get him back, and you know, maybe that changes things, but to me, I still look to stick away from this one. And these teams played, when was it, just 2-3 days ago, and the Bulls had their way with them. So, you know, and that was with Trae Young back as well. So sometimes I adopt the mindset of, oh, well, it's hard to beat a team twice, but when the Bulls are that much better than the Hawks and they're at home now, and you know we call the Hawks on the road the Atlanta Pigeons, I do lean Bulls here. I just don't know if I love the 8.5 number, so that one's still up in the air for me, but I do lean Bulls. Next, we have the Grizzlies hosting Lakers here. Grizzlies 6-point favorites over the Lakers. The Lakers, our lean was spot on against Houston just last night. Memphis now won 2 games in a row after losing 3 in a row. They beat Sacramento. Whatever, okay win, but you pummeled them. Second night of a back-to-back, they go and beat Phoenix, and they beat them by 1. They really showed out there and beat, obviously, one of the best teams in the league. In terms of injuries, Rondo's out. Trevor Ariza is questionable. Ellington, questionable. Anthony Davis, we know, was out. Bazemore out, or questionable, actually. Memphis, Dylan Brooks out. Melton out. Culver out. And then nothing else too noteworthy there. I think that this -6 seems like it's just a little bit too much for me, so I think I have to, and am forced to lean Lakers here. They do have LeBron James, they'll have Russell Westbrook. What did I just say about, you know, having your top-end talent? I know that seemingly hasn't worked out for the Lakers that much this year, as they have just been a god-awful team against the spread, 13-22 overall and 17-18 straight up. So it's crazy for me to lean Lakers here, but I think that 6 points might be just a little bit too much in my book to lean with Grizzlies here. So I lean Lakers +6. Next, we have the Spurs hosting the Heat. Spurs 3-point favorites over the Heat, and that's because I would assume Miami's injury report here. PJ Tucker questionable, Haslam questionable, Kyle Lowry questionable, Morris still out, Dedmon out, Bam Adebayo out, Max Strus questionable as well. This San Antonio team, I get it, they've been playing well, won 3 out of their last 4. The only game that they lost in that last 4 was to Utah, a really good team. But Miami has won 8 out of their last 10 games. They've been playing good basketball. I wouldn't say against the spread good basketball. They're about 500 there. But to get points here, I do think that I lean towards Miami. It's kind of crazy. I know they just played last night, but I don't think that this Spurs team is genuinely like a really good team. And yes, that Miami injury report is kind of scary, but to take Miami as an underdog here, I think is almost an opportunity. Does that make sense? Like, yes, it's risky because of all the players they have out and whatnot, but you're getting a team that has been better this season at an underdog price there. So I am going to look to play Miami there +3. That is my lean. Want to see how Lowry and some of these questionable guys, I guess, on the injury report actually turn out. I would say, I would think Kyle Lowry's not playing based on this line, but he's questionable as of right now. Next, we have the Suns -14.5 against the Thunder. The rumbling, covering Thunder. This seems like it's just going to be another game where the Thunder somehow go out there and cover, because they are so surprising. They're 21-12 against the spread this season. And then their exact opposite record is straight up. They're 12-21 straight up, and then 12-20 or 21-12 against the spread here. 14.5. I just have to lean Thunder. I don't love that. I don't think I'm going to play that, but you guys know how I feel about double-digit spreads in the first place. I can't lay almost 15 points on an NBA team playing another NBA team. If this was the Suns doing some sort of pro-am where they get people up in the crowd to play against, yeah, I would hammer 14.5, but it's a professional team playing against a professional team. In terms of injuries, though, we do say Pukuchesky, I don't know how to say that, questionable, Baisley questionable, Giddey questionable, Mann questionable, Favors questionable, Phoenix, Jay Crowder still out there, DeAndre Ayton still out quarantining as well. So I lean Thunder here, +14.5. I think, I might be a crazy person. I might lay this one. I might put it on the final ticket. We shall see. Check the pinned comment. But that is just such a big number that, it seems like I'm missing an opportunity to take an NBA team getting almost 15 points against another NBA team. But look at the Bucks last night. We made the similar argument, and the Bucks go out there and easily cover that number. So it is what it is. We'll see. Next up, we have the Blazers hosting the Jazz here. Blazers getting 6.5 points at home. Blazers team, talk about inconsistently, but Utah is going to be without Donovan Mitchell. And it looks like Portland's going to have Damian Lillard here. So as much as Utah has won, they are 8-2 in the last 10 games. I might lean Portland here, getting 6.5 points at home. I know that's the crazy pick. That's going to be tough for me. I got to yank my arm to get me to play that one. But Utah is by far the better team. I can admit that. They probably won't have trouble covering this number. But no Donovan Mitchell, I think that, the Blazers can at least keep up with this team. And when they played just a month ago, Portland lost by 22. So that goes exactly against what I'm saying. But I'm still leaning towards Portland here. I'm a crazy person. You guys know that. I'm a dumb, crazy person. Next up, we have the Kings hosting the Mavericks. Kings getting 2 points here at home. In terms of injuries, we have the Dallas side of things pretty hefty here. Luka is still out as well. Tim Hardaway, Reggie Bullock upgraded to probable. Tim Hardaway is out. Trey Burke out. Willie Cauley-Stein still out. Max Kleber out. Sacramento, on the other hand, Mitchell is questionable. Alex Len is questionable, and that's the most, I guess, worth noting. Sacramento just getting a win yesterday against OKC, and Dallas, just getting a win against Portland a couple nights ago. I think I lean Sacramento here at home. We're taking a lot of crazy underdogs today in terms of my lean, but I could be wrong, but I could be the smartest person in the room. Who knows? But we are going to lean Sacramento +2 here. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the all my leans and everything down on the spread. Let's get into the hashtag of the day. Again, if you don't know what the hashtag of the day is, all you got to do is drop this hashtag. It's going to be hashtag spread today. You got to drop hashtag spread in the chat and let me know your picks for tonight, what you're rolling with, what your locks are, what are you most confident in, and if you guys have a winning, successful night or, just even a positive night, then you guys are got a chance to be randomly selected, be shouted out in tomorrow's video. So drop hashtag spread in the comments today, guys. Hopefully everyone has a good night. I know I'm saying it's kind of crazy that I've picked so many underdogs today, but it is what it is. Things are getting crazy in the NBA and have been crazy in the NBA, but just going what we're thinking over here. So if you want to fade me, hey, go right ahead. You want to ride? Let's ride. But hashtag spread in the comments for today's hashtag of the day, and that's how you got a chance to be featured in tomorrow's video. Until then, guys, peace out.